Hey everyone, same token here. Just a really quick video today as 343 released some new screenshots and I had to talk about just how much better Halo Infinite now looks. Compared to the July presentation, there are huge improvements to one of the primary complaints: lighting. In my Why Halo Infinite is Delayed video, which you can check out by clicking on the pop-out banner in the corner, I discuss some of the reasons why the lighting looked a little off. One of them, as found by Digital Foundry, was that in areas of shadow, there appeared to be a lack of detail, and that's because of the way lighting was calculated. This wasn't helped by the fact that they picked a time of day where the sun was low while primarily playing within a valley, so almost the entire demo took place in shadow. Take a closer look at the weapon the player was holding and the issue becomes very apparent. Everything looks a little flat. But with the new screenshots released, we can see huge improvements in this area. Just look at the detail difference in the sniper. It looks like the player is standing in shadow, and yet it no longer has that flat look. Bar the trees, which look a little odd when zoomed in, the overall difference really is night and day. And speaking of night and day, 343's update demonstrated the same location at different times. And I have to say, each lighting condition looks phenomenal. It's so inviting, almost beckoning you in to explore. And look at that skybox with the visible stars. I imagine the flashlight will be making a return, which, if it plays nicely with the dynamic lighting, could really add to the experience. Pair all of this with the new soundtrack, and you have the perfect recipe for creating atmosphere. This is exactly the kind of wonder I was expecting from Halo Infinite. Now, there does seem to be some post-processing sharpening going on, perhaps to counteract softness due to the anti-aliasing used, but it's pretty subtle, and so you only notice this when YouTubers really expand on the image. Overall, the changes are very welcome. The environment appears a little different too. We see less of those hexagonal pillars that were very prominent in the July demo, which wasn't to everyone's taste. Realistically, however, we could just be seeing a different area of the map. And interestingly, they gave us a lore reason for their existence, in that, because of the extreme damage Zeta Halo endured, parts of the inner workings of the ring are exposed. And artistically, they're a good sci-fi juxtaposition against the organic biome. And on that topic, it'll be interesting to see if there's any variety in biomes. I love a good desert or snowy wasteland. Environmental diversity has always been a staple of Halo. According to their update, the setting we've seen so far is based on the forests in the Pacific Northwest, where 343 themselves are located. As you can see, this is reminiscent of our first visit to Halo. But I hope in the final game there will be a greater variety in biomes as time goes on, and if not now, since it's a live service game, it's perhaps possible for the future. We also get a better look at some of the Forerunner and Banished designs. Compared to the 2018 announcement trailer, the beam emitter is now more in line with the classic Halos, appearing as a kind of hybrid between the two art styles. Some designs lean towards classic looks, while others towards more contemporary Halos. And then of course there's the Banished's architecture, which is like a more subdued version of what was seen in Halo Wars 2. Also shown is a first-person view of the human sniper, which looks fantastic. I was always a fan of the classic full-screen display over the scope design of Halo 5. On the other hand, I'm still undecided on the new heads-up display, which has seen a couple of little changes since the July demo. As with before, the weapon info now appears at the bottom right, and it uses numbers rather than visually representing bullets. But we now see a north indicator on the radar, and they've shuffled around the weapon info section to look a little cleaner. Still, it's hard to judge its playability without actually playing. From a visual standpoint, it looks pretty attractive. In their update, they teased a Halo Infinite audio diary with this first snippet.
How many now?
16 systems shut down so far. Seemingly random locations. I'm attempting to lock her and the others out of the main...
You will not be able to stop her. She knows more about how this all works than, well, anyone.
Dr. Halsey,
John.
what's the plan?
The plan? Right now, we are in survival mode, again. Cortana's message has spread across the galaxy. Most sentient AI are siding with her.
Against us.
Yes. But maybe not you. Tell me, John, what was the last thing she said to you?
She said, goodbye.
From this, we see even more evidence that they're not deserting Halo 5's story. The created plotline is in full swing. Although there's been plenty of hints that suggested as much, there were still some concerns that they'd maybe sidestep this narrative in favor of focusing only on the Banished, and instead relegate it to the books and other transmedia, which might be fine for side plots, but it is dissatisfying to have major narratives be resolved in a different medium from where they were started. After all, some of 343's language in the past suggests that they're distancing themselves from Halo 5 while also treating this as a soft reboot that won't require prior knowledge of Halo. However, it is totally possible to have franchise-running plotlines that don't have to be fully understood to enjoy the present story. And regardless, it seems as though Cortana will be playing a prominent role, which makes a lot of sense when you consider the whole created incident as essentially being the whole setup for Infinite from the very start. Use of audio logs also perhaps demonstrates their intention to populate the open world with extra lore to encourage exploration. Halo 3 ODST did this to great effect with Sadie's story in the hub. And Frank O'Connor has said that Infinite hopes to tell a more human story, exactly the same thing that was said about ODST during its development. So it'll be interesting to see if and how these kinds of mechanics will be integrated into the campaign. Ultimately, it appears as though 343 are pushing in the right direction. In this update, they said and showcased all the right things. Graphical improvements are looking great. Seeing more of their artistic direction is brilliant, and the audio diary has me even more excited for Infinite's story. If you haven't already, I strongly recommend giving this update a read. I'll leave the link in the description. And please, let me know what you think about these changes in the comments. Now for just a quick channel update. For the past couple of months, I've been experimenting with different upload schedules and video types. My larger videos, like retrospectives, can sometimes take up to 2 weeks to create, but videos like this one can be produced very quickly. The aim is to upload at least a video a week, and so in addition to my larger videos, I'll be uploading smaller videos as well. But I just want to emphasize that these new videos are additional and won't slow down the release of my usual retrospectives and lore. And on that note, look out for my retrospective of Halo 3 ODST, which will be dropping at the end of this week. So thank you so much for all your support. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon for more. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.